How does analyzing literature train students to develop their critical thinking skills?
Well, there's a thing called literary theory, and it's pretty much just a different lens in which we interpret. So it's like we change our glasses all the time. When I was a student, I had a class and we read one short story like 15 times that entire semester, because one way we approach culturally, how does the social norms of the story shape the characters and their identity? Then we read it again from like a Marxist point of view. How does the class struggles of the story affect the characters? Psychoanalytic, the most basic psychology class, people learn about, suppressed and repressed desires, how the subconscious affects the characters. So I think just analyzing stories and characters from so many different angles. And, when I read that short story 15 times, it was different every single time. You'd think it'd be boring in the beginning that I have to keep reading this thing, but when
Mm.
we read it from a different point of view, it was a new story every time. And this is like extremely important.
Right. No, I love the way you described it, where you keep putting on this separate pair of glasses. So,
Yeah.
like, you're looking at the same thing with a different lens. And I think that that gives a great visual for students who might be thinking that critical thinking as an idea is just something that's very abstract. On the show, a lot, I talk about these hard skills, and it's task management and time management and productivity and getting things done. And these are all skills that people can build with practice. But critical thinking, and I think you would agree, is a skill that we can get better at. Babies aren't born being able to put on separate pairs of glasses and have compassion and empathy and self-awareness to be like, what is this other person thinking? How could
Mhm.
I view this differently? So that's why I think that you're the perfect person for this conversation, because you teach reading and you teach writing and you teach thinking.
Yeah,
And I see such an overlap between those three verbs, reading and writing and thinking. And I don't think you could have one without the other. I think it's kind of like a
exactly.
three-leg stool,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
exactly. I always just keep telling the students this isn't something you should already have perfect. It's a skill that you develop, just like playing a sport. Your first day of practice, you don't just go out and immediately score touchdowns and make baskets. You have to slowly work your way up to it through practice.